Hi everyone, it's Hannah here and it's our Q&A Monday again. So today is a special Q&A Monday episode. First of all, it's not really the time, normally we do it 5 p.m. But today we do it 8 p.m. as through my personal login. So I just really want more people to be with me on live, and so I can cover the questions. So today's topic is really about releasing the fear of paying taxes so that you can feel good about your finances. And also I do believe if you do feel good about your finances, you're not stressing out all the time, you're more present with what you're supposed to do in this planet, and you are eventually adding more value to people's lives. So when you listen to this, this is you're not listening just for yourself, but also for the people whom you are going to add more value to. Okay, so today is also a very special day because I'm actually launching my brand new online program. It's called How to Prosper as a Training Doctor. So this program is really to not just give you some practical guidance about tax, but it's customized for salaried doctors who are in their training years and what they can do to make most of their take-home pay and stress less about the tax bill, about their money, so they can be more present and save more lives. So why am I doing this? That is a really good question. And why training doctors or junior doctors? So I've been working with doctors since day one when I started my business. And of course, I know these are the people who are supposed to save other people's lives. These are lifesavers, but apparently there are loads of fear around taxes of them. And also very recently, I think there are some governmental changes about the public health. So junior doctors, effectively, they are getting, they say it's like a pay cut. And I've seen lots of articles, lots of stories on the media about how they are stressed out and how they overworked and worry about money. So I just felt they're supposed to be the one to save other people's lives and look after other people's health. But when they are stressed about their finances, they cannot look after themselves. And also, very sadly, I also been hearing about stories of junior doctors committing suicide. So thank you for the love, by the way. So basically, that was really sad. Again, we say doctors, they are lifesavers. And if they are that stressed out, probably not necessarily financially, but overall about their lives, then who is there to save their lives? So that is why I created this online course, and just out of my best capacity and use my own expertise. So as much as I can to help them to release a fear around their finances, around the tax bill, so they can feel good about it. They can feel good so they can save more lives. Okay, and also I would say when it comes to scared, like being scared about the topic of finance or fear about paying taxes, of course, I've also over the last couple of years when I was working with doctors, most of the time they're asking, why am I working so hard to fund my patient's lifestyle? So it's that's a really good question. I think I covered my answer in my most of my blogs and my ebooks. So basically, of course, like in reality, our public health is funded by taxpayers' money. But again, the patients, if they are on benefits, but they sort of make them sick, they are having cigarettes, cigarettes are levied on more tax. So they eventually pay the treatment themselves. So really, that's a really good question. But I think when it comes to fear about paying taxes, it's again a lot of inner work out there. And also there are lots of people avoid talking about it. They think they are not good at money. And tax is it's like accountant's job to taking care of tax. Why should I do it? Well, so in my mind, I would say you are the person have the primary responsibility of your finances. Although you have accountants or financial advisors looking after your tax bill, help you to plan for the future, you are still the one who has the full financial power. So you are the primary responsibility of your own finances. But if you do think one day your paycheck would dramatically increase, or there's some magic person or the government will look after you financially, that's not going to happen. So you are the one having owning the full power and having the full control of your finances. So that's one of the reasons why I create this online course. It's self-studied, so it's really raised awareness for people for doctors in their junior years to know as much guidance as they can. So be self-aware. When you are being self-aware of your finances, then you feel less stressful, and also it prepares for a senior year as well. Because I've been working with doctors, even senior doctors. So even the senior doctors, they say they have to work 7 days a week in order to fund their tax bill at the tax season. So it's really when you are as a training doctor, when you are aware of these things, and when you eventually earning more money, and you are more able to look after yourself financially and be less stressful in your life. Okay. And also the other reason why I create this is really, I think I do believe like finance, when feeling good about finance, or we say financial well-being, there are two parts of it. One is the inner world, and the other one is outside practical guidance. So of course we do have like life coaches, we do have people teach about money mindset. I've done all this myself, by the way, about money mindset and everything. But when it comes to personal development, people can say it's a bit wishy-washy, not much practical guidance. But on the other side, we have accountants, financial advisors, all these professionals. They do give enough practical guidance and look after your taxes and crunching the numbers for you, but not really much about increasing your income, talking about the mindset of money and how you can feel good about it. But fortunately, my online course, I actually bring these two together. So I not just focus on the inner world. First of all, I do focus on how you can maximize your income. You can increase your income because that is more fun and feel more abundant. And then we talk about taxes and also some practical tax guidance about that is tailored to junior doctors. And also, by the way, why junior doctors? What happened with if you are a qualified doctor and if you're still salaried? So if you're a salaried doctor and you're qualified, that course can still benefit you, especially when it comes to the practical guidance about tax. It's still benefiting you to really understand the basics and also catch up some practical tax strategies that you can really help yourself to maximize your take-home pay. But one word of warning is if your salary cross 100K plus, then perhaps that course is not quite enough for you, because when you reach 100K plus, then there will be slightly different tax implication, and you will probably do need to look for proper professional advice about your tax about your tax return, how you can save tax, or how you can plan for the future. So when you reach that level, of course, you can still purchase the course to get the basics covered. But just a word of warning, you might, if you do need to look for proper tax planning, and you do need to speak to to accountant or financial advisor. Okay, so much about talking about the online course and why I'm doing it, and what's that about. So let's get through some contents. So today's topic is about releasing the fear of paying taxes. Of course, as I said, part of it is inner work. First thing, when you want to feel good about your finances as a whole, or your taxes, first of all, you need to believe that you have whatever it takes to be good with money. So I do hear quite a lot of doctors, healthcare professionals, or some other business owners who hasn't been trained in finance. So they say they are not good with money. They don't like numbers, and tax is an accountant's job. They are not going to touch it. But again, I would say every human being is inherently valuable, and you do have whatever it takes to be good with money. Of course, you might not be given the guidance or some tips, enough tips about looking after your finances. But again, as I said, you have the power. You own your power of your own finances. So really, first of all, is really have the mindset of you are the one looking after yourself. So of course you will probably ask for accountants or financial advisors for help, but eventually you will need to make these people to work for you, not let them to own your power. So during last couple of years, what I find is the clients I work with who get the best results, who really save money, are the ones who are in some level more self-aware. Aware of some basics of a tax, and aware of their financial situation, and they know who to speak to, they know who to look for help, and even they look for my help, they know what I am doing for them. So that's really important. You are the person, own the power and take responsibility of your own finances. So by the way, if you think your finances will someday magically becomes all good, or someone like Prince Charming will come to rescue you, will take care of you financially, I would really say, with much love, you probably stop watching this video now. But if you do think yes, you have to take care of your own finances, you have the own power, then please watch on. Okay, so first of all, you own your own power. And secondly, you do need to believe that the money you pay into the system, the tax you pay into the system, is still yours. Because you are the one who added value. You are the one who worked really hard, earn this money. Of course, the taxman will take the share, and you do need to pay the fair share. That's just that's the rule. But if we look at the bigger picture, the tax eventually is funding our public health, like public facilities. These are eventually benefiting us. So just imagine if you go to like a less developed country, they probably don't have a concrete road to drive on, then you will probably much appreciate our economy and the tax we're paying to in our government that really give us a foundation of this lifestyle. And also, when you receive a payslip, there are different kinds of deductions. Of course, one of them is tax. The other one is called national insurance. That's a social security. So these are the money used to fund the benefits, state benefits, like your state pension, or if you lose a job, and that's where the unemployment benefits come from. Or if you are pregnant and you have stopped working for a while, but you don't entitle any maternity pay from your employer, then you will get the maternity allowance. So the money you pay into the system eventually is benefiting you. You probably don't see it immediately, but again, they are benefiting you in a different way, indirectly or in the long run. Okay, so money you pay into the system is still yours. But that doesn't mean you have to pay as much tax as possible. So that just means you need to pay the fair share, but you don't have to pay more than the fair share. Thank you for the like. So that's leads to the next point. So the third step is really understand the universal rule of tax. This is not turn everyone into accountants, not to teach you about like all the details about tax rule. It's a lot of details and it's updating all the time. That's really accountant's job to look after all these details, all these every year all these updates. Let accountants to do the hard work. But for you will need to know the basics of the tax rule. So usually my favorite approach of talking about the tax is really use this cash flow quadrant. I think probably most of you, if you have read Rich Dad Poor Dad, you will know what does that mean. But then we have 4 quadrants stands for 4 type of people, how they earn their money. So on the left hand side we have employee, and we have self-employed, and also we have business owner, and we have investors. So these are eventually 4 main types of people, how they generate their income, their earned income. So of course, employees, if you work for someone, you earn money through these quadrants. But if you're self-employed, say if you start a business, become a contractor, you're moving to this quadrant. But then we have business owner. These are the people who run the corporation, run the organization. They have idea, but then they also hire people to do the work for them. So they have the system working for them. And underneath we have investors. So these are the people who invest their money and expecting a return. So they have, eventually people will say they have money working really hard for them. So as we can see on this side of a quadrant, E and S, they are, when you when you work for someone, or if you're just like freelancer, eventually you're trading your hours for money. So we all have very limited amount of time. So if you're trading your hours for money, your earning potential is limited. But look at this quadrant, B and I. Business owners, they have a system working hard for them. And investors, they have money working hard for them. When they are not working hard for money, but they have something working hard for them and generating money, their earning potential is unlimited. Yes. But if we apply the UK tax rates, if I just give an average of each quadrant, E, that's they have like 40%, because most of working class, their earning level is paying 40% in tax. Self-employed, if you run a very profitable self-employed business, yes, I would say 50%, because you will still pay like 2 kinds of national insurance on top of it. And also there are different rules, like you have to pay half of next year's tax in advance. So I would say round up like 50%. That's really not very beneficial. But again, if you're self-employed, of course you're invoicing your clients. It's like a small business, but your overhead is relatively low, because eventually the business is only you. So it's very likely you get, when you are profitable, and 50% of your profits goes to the government. But businesses, currently, if you run a business, run a corporation, but corporation tax currently is 19%. That is much lower than any of these quadrants. And investors, of course, when you have investment, you do pay tax. Like there are loads of different kinds of tax for investors. When you have dividends or when you sell assets, you have capital gains tax, all these tax. But investors, if they are sophisticated investors, they will know how to invest in the tax efficient way. There are certain type of tax efficient investments out there. Things like, for instance, if you're investing in startups, if you invest in certain startups, like if you invest £10,000, you get up to £5,000 back from the government. So that is one of the very generous tax breaks investors can get. But some investors, perhaps they put some portfolio in the tax-free environment. So what have they earned from that investor in the tax-free environment? They don't pay tax. So eventually this amount will build up. This tax saving amount each year will build up. So for instance, if you save £500 a year, that's £5,000 for 10 years. So that's all these things are compounding and all these things will build up. But again, why this quadrant is earning more? They have more earning potential, but they are paying less tax. Of course, these are more risky. Yes, businesses, as entrepreneur, the life is difficult, and investors, it's risky as well. Your investment can go down and you lose your money. Yes, it's more risky. But effectively, if we're looking at the whole economy, business owners, they probably have an innovative idea. They start a business because they want to solve people's problems. And also they create jobs. So that's adding huge value to the economy. They have people working for them. So they're creating jobs, give more people the stability, and make sure they can guarantee the decent life. So they are eventually adding a lot of value to the economy. And investors, they are injecting the capital to the businesses. If they invest in the startup company and make the company become successful, so make the dream come true. So that's investors, they are the ones to make this happen. Yes, they are eventually adding massive value to the economy. But in comparison to employee or self-employed, yes, you're adding value, you are putting your talent out there, but you probably only serve 1 or 2 clients in one go. So in comparison to this, the adding value factor is repetitive and it's massive. Okay, so I would say the universal rule of tax, why these people like B and I paying less tax but earning more money, eventually they are adding massive value to the economy. So the byproduct is the government reward them more tax breaks. Of course, they are more risky, but when you are adding more value, really focus on adding more value to other people, then, eventually your income will increase. Okay, so just to summarize the 3 steps. First of all, you own your own power. Make sure you take responsibility of your own tax. And secondly, always believe that money you pay into the system, they are still yours. Of course, you don't see the benefit immediately, but they are benefiting you in a different way or in long term. And the third thing, understand the basic rule of tax. Usually I like to use a Cashflow Quadrant to explain the universal rule of tax. But there might be different people have different approach, but I would say that Cashflow Quadrant is so far the kind of approach I like the most and make the most sense. Okay, so I hope you find this one useful. And of course, if you do have any further questions about the tax bill, about tax in general, then be free to let me know. I still have my private Facebook group, so be free to join as well. But today, very importantly, I'd like to talk more about the online course I'm launching. At the moment, I'm giving away the free, the first module for free for you to have a taste, for you to try the idea and to really to see if the approach makes sense and to see if you can get value from it. So as I said, that is three videos in total. First of all, we focus on the income, so increasing the income, and then we come back to understand your tax codes, as well as some simple strategies, some low risk strategies that you can use to help you to save some money in tax. Yes, if you implement, for some people, if they implement that, they probably save like £500 a year. But if you imagine, if you save £500 a year, but for 10 years, that's £5,000. So definitely worth it. And what's even better is currently I will give some the first chapter for free. So just try the first module for free and see how it looks like. And if you like to know more, that's great. And you can purchase the whole course, and then you can still once you purchase that, you can get unlimited email support as well. If you do have any questions, you can always ask me. But then if you've done the first course and that's enough for you, that's great as well. And I hope you find value from that. And also I am looking to develop more advanced content for more doctors, for different career direction, or more senior doctors, to feed their needs, to make sure they also get enough guidance. So it's really, I think the self-awareness is a big thing. It's really help people to gain a peace of mind about the tax bill. So these things like the tax or finances, they don't have to be complicated. I think the reason why people perceive it to be complicated is perhaps the government, how the government talks about it, or there are loads of jargon out there. But yeah, this course is really, I use plain English to explain all this, everything about finance and about tax bill. So make sure it's understandable to everyone. Okay, so I hope you find this one useful, and also I will put the course link in the comment box below. And if you're watching on the YouTube, you will find the link below as well. Do check out, and I would be really grateful if you like this video. If you find the content is useful, I'm really grateful if you can share to your friends or colleagues who may find it beneficial. Okay, again, I hope you find this one useful, and I shall see you very soon. Bye now.